How to cultivate a growth mindset. What if your failures were not flaws, but the fingerprints of your future success? What if the path to greatness isn't paved with perfection, but with persistence? And what if the only thing separating who you are from who you dream to be is the belief that you can grow? In the beating heart of a bustling city, where horns honk like questions with no answers, and neon lights never sleep, there lived a boy named Sandeep. He was just 14, not a prodigy, not a champion, just a boy trying to find his place in a world that moved too fast. He wasn't the kind of student whose name echoed in assemblies. He wasn't the kid teachers called brilliant or classmates asked for help before exams. In fact, the more he tried, the more it felt like the world pulled away from him. Math mocked him with numbers that never lined up. English blurred into a fog of red marks. Science felt like a language only geniuses could speak. And so, slowly, silently, Sandeep gave up. He didn't shout, he didn't cry. He just stopped raising his hand, stopped trying, stopped believing. And in that space where hope once lived, doubt moved in. Maybe I'm just not smart. Maybe success was never meant for me. One evening, as the sky turned orange and the city calmed to a whisper, Sandeep sat on the balcony staring, thinking, disappearing inside himself. His grandfather, who had seen storms in people before they even spoke, pulled up a chair beside him. "Sandeep," he said softly, "you look like someone who lost something precious." Sandeep stayed quiet, then, like a dam cracking, he blurted, "Maybe I'm just not made for success, Grandpa. Some people are born with it. I'm not one of them." His grandfather didn't argue. He smiled a kind of smile that knows a deeper truth, and said, "Come inside. Let me tell you a story. Not about a scholar, but about a potter. Long ago," he began, "in a village far from here, lived a man named Karan. He was a potter, but not a good one, not yet. Every pot he made cracked. The moment they dried, they broke. His neighbors laughed, buyers left, his hands grew tired, and his heart heavier than clay. One day, as he was packing his tools to quit forever, a traveler passed by. He saw the cracked pots and asked, 'Why are you giving up?' 'Because I've tried everything,' Karan said, 'and everything has failed.' The traveler smiled and replied, 'Have you tried learning why it failed?' That night, Karan stayed awake. He didn't blame himself. He studied the clay, the moisture, the fire, even the wind. He adjusted, refined, and tried again, and slowly, something changed. The pots stopped cracking. Not because he was lucky, not because he was born talented, but because he refused to stop learning. Years later, the same villagers who mocked him lined up to buy his art. His cracked beginnings became the foundation of his mastery. Sandeep sat still, the silence between them full of new meaning. His grandfather looked into his eyes and said, "You don't need to be born great, Sandeep, you only need to be willing to grow." That night, Sandeep didn't become fearless, but he became curious. The next day he approached his failed math test, not with shame, but with a question. Where did I go wrong? He stopped avoiding correction. He welcomed it. He began to whisper 3 words to himself, quietly, after every setback. "Not yet, but I will." He wrote it on a paper and taped it to the wall above his desk. He started reading books about great thinkers, leaders, inventors, not to compare, but to connect. He saw that none of them were born with success. They earned it through failure, through reflection, through growth. Weeks turned into months, and Sandeep didn't become the best in class, but he became better every day. His scores rose, not by magic, but by mindset. 2 years later, he stood on stage, not as the top student, but as a speaker, his voice steady, his heart full. He said, "I used to think success was only for the lucky, the gifted, the chosen. But now I know, success is for the ones who don't stop walking." Moral of the story: you may not be the smartest in the room. You may not get things right the first time. But you are not stuck. Your brain is not a stone. It is a garden. Every mistake is compost. Every question is water. Every try is sunlight. The world will reward talent, but it will remember effort. Because effort builds character. And character, not talent, is what carries you forward when life gets hard. A growth mindset isn't just about believing you can succeed. It's believing that you can learn anything, if you're willing to keep going. If this story awakened something in you, if you've ever thought, "I'm not smart enough," remember, you may not be there yet, but you will be. Keep trying, keep growing, and keep walking forward. One lesson at a time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Whispers Within. And in the comments below, tell us, what challenge will you face today with a growth mindset? Because your journey doesn't end at failure. It begins there.